All right, welcome everybody. My name is Dr. Tom Longwell, and everybody just calls me Dr. Tom. I'm director of the Counseling Center, and welcome to Coffee with the Counseling Center. This is a new initiative we have started this summer as a way of being able to support our students, supporting our students from afar, and help give good, positive coping mechanisms, as well as just have a casual conversation about life during COVID-19, as well as all about the fantastic university resources that are available to our students. So today we have with us our housing and residence life staff. And we also have one student with us as well. So if I could just get everybody just to kind of go around, introduce yourself, and during your introductions, maybe, I'll tell you, I'm not a coffee drinker, so I've got some tea with me. Tell me kind of what's your drink of choice today?
I'll go ahead and start. My name is Jules White. I'm the Associate Director for Housing and Residence Life, and I am drinking, oh, you can't see it because of my background, lime LaCroix. I'm often found drinking some flavor of LaCroix.
Hi, I'm Mayor Gangala. I'm the area coordinator for McDonald East. I am drinking just plain black coffee.
Hi, I'm Brandon Perjak. I'm one of the area coordinators on campus also. I just got coffee in my mug with a picture of me and my dog on it. So I'm a little fancy this morning.
What's your dog's name?
Pudge.
Pudge.
Hello, my name is Erin Altman. I'm also an area coordinator for Newman and Governors, and my drink of choice is a vanilla sweet cream cold brew from Starbucks.
Oh.
And then my name is Ryan Roy. I will be a new and upcoming student for the fall of 2020 semester, and I don't have it with me, but generally my drink of choice is just a nice cold cup of water.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I should also share too, and again, I'm not a coffee drinker. You know, I'm one of those people that I love the smell of coffee. And despite the fact that coffee tastes exactly like it smells, I hate the taste. So I'm drinking tea today. And I'm a relatively new tea drinker as well. So I'm drinking Tazo brand passion tea. So it is an exuberant herbal infusion of hibiscus, orange peel, rose hips, and passion fruit flavoring. So that's my drink today. So yeah, again, welcome everybody. So again, casual conversation today. Again, to lead the conversation, I do have some questions and I'll kind of take the lead. But let's just make it a conversation. As we discuss, if something comes into your mind that you want to share, please do. So if Jules starts talking and that for you, Erin, triggers something, please just jump on in. And then again, I'm inviting Ryan to ask questions as well. Again, Ryan, if you prefer to do it in the chat screen, that is fine as well. Okay. So let me just start off the conversation. So since you've shared who you are and what you do, and everybody here is a part of housing and residence life, I wanted to just kind of talk about the start of our COVID-19 response at the university. Tell me a little bit of what that was like for you as professional staff, and what that was like as housing and residence life staff, and how that went. And then maybe kind of getting away from the, not only what did we do, but what was that like for you as well?
I'll start.
Thank you, Erin.
Yeah. So this is my first semester working at USI. So we got cut short right after spring break. So that piece for me alone was just really sad. Missing all of the residents right now. I live in Newman, so it's very, very quiet. Laundry is scary to do. Nobody is here. But yeah, just seeing our residents walking on campus, not being able to really say goodbye to anyone, including our staffs. So I would say that was really the most difficult part for me with the COVID-19.
Yeah, I think we kind of went into hardcore work mode when it all kind of first happened because we had to move out a ton of students within a weekend. So I think for a while there, we kind of had a lot of work to do in a short amount of time, and so we were really focused on that. But then it kind of, as we got used to campus being empty, kind of the same thing that Aaron said. It's just extremely quiet. We do this job for the students. Summer is one of my least favorite times, and it just got extended by a few months. So I think it's been kind of tough getting into June already. And normally we're starting to think about, okay, getting training ready, which is what we're doing. But we've already had 2 months of no students being here. We've got a few more to go. So that's been kind of tough.
Also makes me wonder what it was like for our students kind of having to kind of pack up so quickly. What kind of impact did you guys see upon them having to kind of make that real fast change?
I think it was similar, maybe for a lot of us, but in a different way of kind of just that, like, I don't understand what's going on and I don't understand what's happening, especially because in our area we hadn't really seen COVID-19 be very present, and a lot of people hadn't really had a lot of personal interaction with that. I know, like, I really struggled with not hugging people as they left. And in fact, I did, because it wasn't as real to me yet. And I'm originally from the West Coast and have lots of friends who are greatly affected by COVID-19, and having heard stories and things that are going on now and how they've been affected. I look back at, some of my actions and I'm like, oh gosh, I probably should have been a little bit more careful. I'm actually really proud of our students and how they left. Move out is always a really difficult time. You have to clean. Nobody likes to move. Moving sucks. And our students did a fantastic job of really caring for our housekeepers and our professional staff who had to go in after them and pick up things that were left behind and clean those buildings and prepare them so that they'd be ready for this next year. But I would say it's one of the best closings we actually had because people were being really kind and careful about what they left behind and what they did. So I was really proud of our students and how they cared for us in that time. And likewise with Aaron and Brandon, like, it was sweet to say goodbye to the students who we did get to say goodbye to, but there were so many. Today is one of our former RA's birthdays who graduated this past year, and we didn't get to see them graduate. We had a lot of students who were in the dental program or the nursing program who just didn't know what was going on, didn't know what their futures would look like. And so that's always hard when we're the people who usually tend to support students and encourage them and cheer them on in their future endeavors, and to really be sending students out to a world where we didn't know how to encourage them or what to do next. So I think it was really scary, but also reinforced how much we care for each other. And it was amazing to see students come in and be like, thank you for the opportunity you gave me, even if it only has been for this past 2 months or this past year. And I'm going to miss you all. And seeing the connection on social media that you're still seeing, I think is really encouraging as well.
I'll echo you, Jules. When I've had the occasion to see people from a distance that I'm not socially distancing with, like my family, one of the hardest things is not to get close, to not being able to hug somebody. That's been really hard. I agree. And then in my work with students too, because at the counseling center we've instituted telehealth counseling. So we're still seeing some of our students virtually, and I know a lot of them have struggled with that, not getting to say goodbye. I think for a lot, it's kind of like you feel cheated out of the semester, which is why I'm so glad. I've also got some students that are graduating, that they're going to be able to come back for graduation. I think in August. Again, I forget the exact date. But I know some of them felt cheated, and because this is what you'd planned, this is kind of what you envisioned, and to have to make that change and make that change so quickly, I think a lot went through a mourning process as well. So now, I know that a lot of our students have had to, the majority had to move off campus right away. But I know actually in housing and residence life, you actually have some students on campus currently. Tell me about them. Tell me about how they're doing and how you guys are supporting them.
I think from a supporting standpoint, it's trying to bring as much normal as possible to them, to making sure that the mail that they get, gets to them and they're notified as soon as possible. We try to, like, at least when I go into the community center, I try to talk to them, making sure that I have, maintain appropriate social distancing, but saying hi to them and just introducing ourselves and letting them know, like, hey, we may not have the RA on call, but we still have people on campus that will respond to you. There's been a few emergencies here and there, and they've kind of been shocked of like, oh, you're still on campus? And it's like, yep, we're still here. Like, we're still doing all of the work that we are. We're adjusting a few things, but, we're trying to keep it as normal as possible for them.
Yeah, I think you still see them doing the normal things of doing laundry. I live in O'Daniel South, so you see a lot of them going up on the pavilion up behind Jennings and doing homework or hammocking. I hear students that they're playing basketball occasionally. They're still doing a lot of the same things that they were doing before. It's just a very different experience right now with not as many people here, but it's probably a little bit closer to a normal summer experience as far as numbers and things like that. But they're still kind of doing all those normal things. We still see them occasionally. So
fantastic. Now, I love a good hammock. I've never heard it turned into a verb though. Is that a terminology that I'm just out of the loop and showing the fact that I've got the ball in the back of my head? Aaron's nodding a little bit. Yeah.
I think we do say hammocking.
Okay. Nice. So
hammock is the big thing on this campus.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
We actually, within Housing and Residence Life, we have 3 different hammock nests. So we have one out in the apartments and then one by each of the residence hall groupings. I know a lot of people do it on campus and near the academic buildings and the quad. Actually, like in my background, there's a spot right up here where people hammock a lot. But we recently, in the last couple of years, built the hammock nest, so you can hammock pretty easily with a group of students within the different housing areas.
Well, that's fantastic. I've been with the university for going on 10 years, and I learned something new there. So thank you, Jules. I didn't know about your hammocking nest. That's fantastic. By the way, Jules sent me a private little note to say that graduation is August the 14th and 15th. So please do come. We would love to have you. Fantastic. Anything else about how our other students are doing? What else we're doing to support them right now? Either the in-person ones, or are you guys doing anything virtually to assist our students in housing right now?
I think a lot of our support right now is just trying to get as much information to students. We did move back our cancellation date, knowing that a lot of stuff is up in the air right now and we don't have a lot of information, and trying to want to make sure that if students are going to come live with us, that they feel secure in that decision and that they're able to do that. So we have moved that back to July 1st for contract cancellation. As the university is still figuring out what classes are online and what classes are in person, we have been told that hopefully mid this month is when we'll know more about what classes are offered when. So we wanted to make sure that was a possibility for students, so no one felt kind of trapped in that experience. But also we put out a lot of information, and then also we try to do a lot of photos to keep people connected to campus. So all the area coordinators have been kind of taking photos of their experiences. Last week, you may have seen one of our area coordinators, Joe, you got a picture of his cat on the leash that he walks. Mayor just sent me one of him and his dog in his baby carriage walking around campus. So just to show people that we're still here, we're still moving on, and kind of find that connection to campus as well. And then there, the normal things of orientations and open houses. Aaron and I actually on Saturday are going to be at the open house, virtually of course, to share what it's like to live on campus and what are we doing and all of those things. So we're just trying to really stay connected, because I think in this world where we miss that connection so much, that one of the best things we can do is be present and connect with people and answer questions as best we can with the information that we have right now.
And then Jules casually mentioned Mayor with the baby carriage. So Mayor is a brand new baby, so we got to give congratulations to him as well. So congratulations.
Thank you.
How old is she again?
10 days.
11 days.
11 days.
Well, again, congratulations.
Wife did most of the work.
Yeah, and the fact that you're here and awake says a lot.
Yeah, I'm on my second cup of coffee.
That's why it's black coffee and there's nothing in it, right?
No, yeah.
Well, fantastic. Okay, so then maybe another question I would have is kind of, so we talked about how you're supporting students now, and we kind of started talking about what you're doing now. Because sometimes there's a misnomer that it's the summer and we're not doing anything, right? You guys are busy. And I know given this time, plans are constantly changing, but today's June the 2nd. As of June the 2nd, what's kind of HRL's plans? I'm sorry, HRL stands for Housing Residence Life. What's HRL's plans for the fall? What's moving gonna look like? What's people gonna have roommates? What's kind of the overall plan?
Well, I'll let the AC speak, but I will tell you, we just found out on Thursday kind of how the university is moving forward. And so we are definitely in the process of planning all of that right now. But I don't know if the ACs want to speak to kind of what our overall focus is just in general, but even this year of how we best support students moving forward during the school year.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just trying to figure out the goal is to have students come back to campus and live on campus. And so figuring out how we can deliver all the things that we have delivered in the past, maybe in a different way. So if that means more virtual programming, what does that mean for when we have one-on-one meetings with students and things like that? So I think that's a lot of what we're trying to figure out now. So we know when we get to that time of, how do we still deliver the same amount of care that we've delivered in the past, but maybe do it in different ways. Part of that is training at the RAs. So a lot of what the ACs are working on right now is planning RA training. Also trying to figure out, we have 60 RAs, 60, 70 RAs. So, how do we train all of them? Is it smart to have them all in one room? Things like that. So trying to figure out how to deliver training in a different way. But that's kind of a big focus for us right now, is trying to get that planned out so that RAs are also trained on how to deliver the same things that they've been delivering in a different way.
So I'm hearing our students that are going to be living in housing in the fall are going to get a lot of the same great support. Some of it may be a little more virtual at times, but they're still going to receive that kindness, support. And one of the things I really do like about USI is it's the people. And even when we can't hug or give that handshake, it doesn't mean you're not there, you're not still caring, you're not going to still have all those great opportunities and programs available to your students. Fantastic. So if students have questions about housing, what's going to happen in the fall, who should they contact, what website should they go to, how do they get that information?
I think really for the fall questions, I would keep an eye on our social media, keep an eye on our website. You can always email us at living@usi.edu, but really right now we're in a lot of that planning, and we are very communicative over our social media and on our website. So I would really be looking to that. And I would say probably like in later June, we'll be able to put out a lot more information. The committee that's working on moving is meeting actually today for the first time, because again, we just heard on Thursday kind of how we're moving forward. And so give us just a little bit of time to figure out how we can best keep everyone safe and still create a really positive experience for everyone. And we'll be able to share that information as soon as we are able to look at the CDC guidelines of our governing institutions and organizations, and then how that works best here at USI to ensure the safety and a positive experience for everyone as they become Screagles at USI.
And I like that response. It very much echoes the mandate from our president on down that we're going to make this a good, safe environment for our students. And yet that doesn't mean we're not also going to have all those wonderful programs, all those wonderful interactions that you guys are offering. So thank you for that. So anything else you guys want to share about kind of what you're doing in housing? I mean, I've got more questions, but anything else you guys want to share about what you're doing in housing, things that you're excited about, anything else?
I have a question for the area coordinators. I think maybe if you all would want to share, like, what is typically your favorite thing about the school year and the favorite thing that you do about your role, and maybe someone also explain what is the role of an area coordinator, knowing that clearly you all live on campus, and from things you've said, and kind of what is your purpose. And for someone like Ryan, who's coming in and doesn't know any of us, like, why would he want to talk with any of us?
I can go. So I can talk a little bit about the area coordinator role. Area coordinators are full-time staff members that live on campus. They're designated to different areas around campus. Their primary responsibility is to supervise the resident assistant staff that is designated to their area. They also sit in on conduct meetings with different conduct cases. They respond to emergencies 24/7, 365 days a year. We have a little black phone. It's the area coordinator on-call phone. We kind of rotate the phone between the 6 of us. So there's any emergency, whether it's 2 a.m. or 2 p.m., whether it's middle of summer or Christmas Eve, we will respond to that. Apart from that, we also just provide general support to students. We are visible in the community. We go to a lot of programs, whether RA programs, departmental programs. So we're pretty visible on campus. We don't typically work like a 8 to 5 schedule. We work days, we work evenings sometimes. So we're pretty visible on campus. With regards to what's my favorite part, it's interacting with students, whether stopping by my office and talking to me. I am an extrovert. I like talking to people. So this has been very difficult for me to not want to be like, hey, let's chat. Let's just sit down and chat in the community center, which is where my office is located, which is a big community hub. So once this COVID started and people took away the chairs, and I was like, okay, the day is getting longer and longer. So that's definitely been a struggle for me, is not being able to talk to people.
I think for me, my favorite part of the year is right around move-in. So RAs come, I really enjoy training, getting to meet my new staff, really starting to build a bond between them, and then having the students come on the campus and do that same thing and watching them build that with their communities, and really seeing them at work and doing that. And then going to the end of the year and seeing where each of those RAs and where those students have come in the course of the year. So I really enjoy watching the growth of students, and so getting to meet them right away from the start, and then just seeing the massive amount of change that has happened in them over the course of the year is really cool to watch.
Well, as I said earlier, I've only been here since January, so I haven't had a lot of experience as an area coordinator. But I will say that my favorite part so far has just been working with first-year students. That's something that I really enjoy. I love to see them grow and just see them get acclimated to USI, and they're all finding their own areas of interest and different groups that they belong to. So I've really enjoyed that. I was a resident assistant. I did go to USI. So my senior year, I was an RA. And I just really loved, again, working with my peers, the residents, just getting everybody to find their own little piece of USI that is individual, and it's completely theirs. And I think that every resident that comes on campus will find that little piece. And so that's just really exciting for me to see.
Fantastic. Thank you all for sharing. At this point, maybe I'd like to kind of switch the overall focus of the conversation, if you'll allow it. Being that we're having coffee with the counseling center, one of the things that I'm always working on with our students is how we cope with life's challenges. And this has been a challenge for all of us. It's been difficult. I know it's been difficult for me. I know it's been difficult for a lot of the students that I've been working with. I mentioned earlier, I know some of the students that felt cheated out of the end of their college career. I know, for a lot of our incoming students might feel cheated out of, their graduations or proms or so forth and so on. I know some of our students can sometimes struggle, in terms of family relationships possibly, and, hard to get away because sometimes with the social isolation that can occur. It's a challenging time, I think, for everybody. And again, I'll absolutely say that's been for me as well. Had a lot of hard work while holding others' emotions while also holding my own. So if you don't mind sharing, because I think it's helpful when we sometimes, at the counseling center, we'll do nice formal presentations and we'll do, this is stress management and this is how you cope with stressors and this is how you challenge your thinking, kind of a nice kind of formal presentation, almost like you're in class. And I think that's great. But another great way of learning, I think, is by learning from others, learning in that personal touch of what has helped our fellow human beings. So if you don't mind sharing, what has your journey been like, and how have you been seeking to cope during this time of social isolation, social distancing, hopefully not social isolation, but how have you been coping with the social distancing and meeting all the responsibilities that you have at the same time?
So I think for me, at the beginning, it was fine because I'm an introvert and I really like, I recharge by having that time to myself. That lasted for about a week or two. And then I was kind of tired of it. So for me, it's really been trying to maintain the things that are important to me. So I purposely, when I was on the job search, picked a job that's close to family. And so I haven't been able to see family nearly as much as I would have liked in the past. So still maintaining that connection to family through phone calls or getting to see pictures of my nephews or video calls with my nephews, things like that. Still trying to get outside now that we're working from home instead of being in my home all the time. Trying to find ways to get outside, even if that's just driving just to get away. As far as like work goes, like still like not getting fully dressed, but like I'm still gonna put on jeans. I'm not gonna wear sweatpants. Like I'm gonna put on I'm gonna change my shirt, like things like that. So I'm not getting into a funk. Because that's what I would do. I wouldn't wear sweatpants to work if I was still going to the office. So trying to maintain some of that normal stuff that I was doing before. All of our meetings have been moved to virtual, but I think still having those meetings has been really important because we would be having those if we were working in the office before. So I think still getting to see people who I work with through those virtual meetings has been really helpful. Still maintaining one-on-one meetings with Jules like we would have done anyway. Just trying to do those things that were normal before. And then the things that are important to me outside of work, still trying to maintain those things. Again, kind of like we were saying for the students, like we want to give them the same care that we always have, just in a different way. I want to keep giving myself that same care, just sometimes in different ways with the world that we live in.
And I'll echo that because I'm doing a lot of the same things. And what I think I'm hearing you say is that during those times of upheaval, it's important to maintain that sense of normalcy, maintain that sense of control that you have. And so much in a lot of my work with my students, I kind of phrase it as, it's kind of like if you're in a boat and the waves are really choppy, right? You can still throw your anchor down. You're still going to be impacted by the waves. You're just not going to be tossed about by them. And that kind of helps give you that anchors when you kind of have a lot of that normalcy as best you can.
Yeah, I would say just keeping a sense of normalcy. My family's in a very weird situation. There's four of us, and we're all in four different countries right now without the ability to get to each other. And that was very nerve-wracking at the beginning. Was to know that my mom, who is autoimmune compromised, like she was one that we were really worried about. And she was supposed to go back home, but the flight got canceled, and she's been quarantined for the last 2.5 months. So it was a little worrying without her being able to get to us or us being able to get to her if something were to happen. So me and my family kind of got into a routine of making sure that we talk to each other on a video chat once every 2 days. So that's been a nice change of pace that I don't have the evening commitments that I had before. So I'm able to dedicate that time to connect with family and friends, just to check up on them, how they're going. Really just focusing on what's important right now. I had a lot of plans for the summer that I wanted to do. Just a lot of it was personal, but then with this happening, I kind of do restock of like, okay, what are the resources that we have on hand? What do we need to focus those resources on? Whether it be time, whether it be money, and kind of just realizing like, hey, there's some things that are important, there are some things that are not important, and that we just have to take a back seat.
And piggybacking off of that too, again, the way I also think about it too is, the way again I think of it is that it's easy to get bogged down in the challenges because those are real, they exist, and they are challenging, right? They're hard, they're difficult, and they're a struggle. But it's also important not to live there either. It's important to make sure that you're thinking about all the things that you are grateful for, including that brand new baby of yours.
Definitely. I think definitely I'm very grateful for the situation that me and my wife have been in the last 3 months, especially seeing some of the struggles of people that we care about. It's really friends and family, and I'm like, we're doing good, and like we have to be grateful and recognize that we're lucky in what's going on and the situation that I find myself in.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else could share?
Yeah, I know for me, I had to start getting creative in just the ways that I'm communicating, keeping up with others. One of my best friends who lives in Chicago, and we always had this thing where we're like, oh, we'll see each other in 3 months, whenever we can get together. And then whenever the pandemic hit, I'm communicating with others online, and I was like, why haven't I been communicating with other groups of friends and all of that online? I could have been doing this the whole time. So for me, it was kind of like, hey, like this is something that I'm going to continue to do. It just kind of took this to realize, I guess, which seems kind of silly. But that's been a positive thing for me. Another thing is just staying comfortable and just realizing that all of us are kind of going through this really strange, unknown thing, and we all have different ways to deal with it. So I'm the opposite of Brandon. I do not have my jeans on. I'm staying completely comfortable, which is working for me. And that's kind of the great thing, is that we all have the opportunity to deal with this in different ways. And, for me, it's that comfort piece, and really just staying connected with the people that I love, and just waiting for the fall to get here so we can kind of get back to a bit of normal, if you want to say that's what it is.
Yeah, I think you make a great point. There's no right way. What works for you. Absolutely.
So for me, I probably push it further than anyone else because that's what I do. But I'm lucky that I have positivity as one of my top strengths, but one of my other top strengths is activation, which means I don't like to just sit still. I have a hard time not doing things. I have a hard time not being in the office. But I think particularly with everything that's occurring now, besides COVID, the thing that's helping me kind of understand myself and is where can I make a difference and what can I do to make a difference. And so that's connecting with people like everybody else said, but also continuing to educate myself and then look at how can I contribute. today is June 2nd. So if you live in Indiana, hopefully you're voting and you're being part of the primary. And, that's a way we can make a difference, is we can have our voices be heard through what we do politically. And there are lots of other things that we can do to make sure that there are people in our lives who are maybe experiencing pressures that I don't feel, because I'm a white person and don't have the same pressures that other people do. So how am I checking up on those people in my life who maybe are experiencing life in a very different way and live a different reality than I do? And so really looking at what are those areas and spaces and places that I can make a difference, or highlight other people who are making a difference where I don't have the experience to make that difference. And really making sure that I'm not disappearing in my house, because I could easily do that, and then I would start to lose myself, because I am very active and interactive. And so I'm making sure that I'm doing everything to continue to improve the world, so that when we come out, hopefully at some point of COVID, we have a better world to come to, and we can all continue to be encouraged by it, and we can continue to, COVID's not the only stressor or the only thing about our society that needs to continue to improve it. And so whatever work I can do from home, or, if it's just a conversation between me and someone else about how we think about society and how it's going and what we can do to make a difference, I think that's really important.
Thank you, Jules. I truly appreciate that response. And I think part of your desire to be active and to make a better difference in the world, I think, frankly, that's a lot of part of education at the college, is to get to know people that are different than you, to learn from others' experiences, and to make a positive contribution to not just ourselves, but our society as well. So I'm excited for our students to get back onto campus so we can continue to provide those types of opportunities to learn and to grow. Any advice you have for our students in terms of for just advice during the summertime as we get ready to come to school, or advice you would give them for their first, day on campus, first week on campus? Any advice you have for our students?
I would say,
and this is where Ryan gets to take a few notes.
I'd say, you probably, if not using already some technological to connect with people, whether it be friends or family that live far away from where you currently are, I'd say make it a habit, so that when you do get to USI, when the school year does get started and you're in classes and things getting a little difficult for you, that you have that system in place so that you can call those people, and that interaction is not, weird or strange for you, that you are, you already know that someone is there for you, that you can pick up a phone, call them and say, hey, I need to talk to someone. Because we're always going to be here for you, but sometimes I think just a call to your loved ones or someone from, your pre-USI days is always going to be a little bit more motivational. So keep those support systems in place and set them up now so that you can use them during your college career.
I would say if you aren't already connected with us in social media, do that. Our social media is active any other time, but it's even more so right now. We're working on a few videos that give different tips on like what to bring for move-in, budgeting tips, all sorts of different things that will be very helpful as you're thinking about coming to campus in the fall. But outside of those, our social media is sharing information constantly, and not just from our office. We share stuff from other offices too that might be pertinent to on-campus residents. So I would strongly recommend, if you're not already connected to those on social media, to do so, because there's a ton of great information that comes out there year round.
I feel like there might be a lot of nerves, especially this fall. So maybe not advice, but just knowing that everybody at USI, especially our housing staff, we're doing everything we can right now And we will be there for everybody during the fall because it will be a little bit unknown. It's going to be different, but we're really preparing right now to help and be a support to our students. So I just want to ease the nerves if that's even possible, especially for the incoming freshmen. But we are preparing for you, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're a good support while you're here.
I think kind of to go along with that is that this is a hard thing. It's hard to move away and live with new people who are different from you, and you've been in the same place. Even if you've moved around a lot, you've still been with the similar people in your life, and you're moving away to a whole new experience. And so it's going to feel awkward, but everybody feels awkward, and know that you're not alone in that, and that there are people there to help with that, and that you'll find your niche. And if you can't, we're here to help you find that niche. But also that come October, you're going to forget how you felt in August. And so there's a light there that August is awkward and weird, but also really fun and awesome because you get to meet lots of people. And so it'll be, kind of like the start of COVID was. It was really, really hard in the beginning, and I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know how to set up my office and my kitchen because I work really hard to make my work at work and my home at home, and to combine the two all of a sudden was really difficult. I think the other thing is that college is not like you see in the movies, so don't expect it to be. It's just not. And it's harder than you think it is, and you have to study more than you think you're going to have to study, and you should be prepared to do that. But also that you're going to fail. And you may be a person who did really well all through elementary, middle school, and high school. And just because you fail at something in college doesn't mean you're not going to succeed and be awesome still. We learn a lot through failure, and that's a great thing. And being able to do that, college is an awesome place because it's a place where it's a little safe to fail. It's safe to learn how to write a paper in the right way, or learn how to negotiate a conversation with a person. There's always someone there who wants to help you with that. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to still get your degree and succeed and go out and be a really awesome person in the community, but that you don't have to be perfect, and that by trying to be perfect, we sometimes miss out on really great opportunities. And I would really encourage you to say yes to something that you think is weird and or difficult. And whether that, if you're not a good rock climber and you've never done the rock wall before, and that's something that you try, or maybe you've never attended an escape room or a video game tournament, go to your office hours for your professor, because those will help you. Those relationships will help you, particularly by the time you graduate and you need letters of recommendation. There are so many people at this university who want to help and support you through everything. And the more that you engage with us, the more we will do whatever we can to make sure that you are as successful as you can be at USI.
Those are wonderful pieces of advice. And the only thing I will add is the HRL staff is awesome. They are one of the funnest, or most fun. I'm not sure grammatically how that goes. But whichever way it is, they're fun. They are awesome people, and they have fun, but they're also kind, caring, and compassionate. And I don't think you can get any better combination than that. So if you need someone to turn to, please turn to our HRL staff. If ever a student were to need counseling, and we also work with students that struggle with some significant struggles and difficulties like depression and anxiety. But we're at the counseling center, we're also here for students that struggling with homesickness, struggling with, fitting in. Maybe they are struggling as well with, having that first time where high school came really easy and now I'm all of a sudden not doing well academically. We want to share that we are as a great resource as well. But our HRL staff is fantastic. I encourage you to reach out to them as well. I've got one more question or one more thing to share. But I wanted to give Ryan a chance to ask any questions that he might have, and feel free to just shake your head no, or that's okay too.
I think for me, just with, being a new student that'll be coming this fall and pretty much leaving almost everything from, my life here behind and moving 2.5 hours away, I just kind of like wonder what it's like to, adjust where everyone is new here for all the freshmen and getting to know people, and like what type of activities are there, like an orientation week or something, to get to know new students and possibly people that like would have the same interests as you.
I'll try to touch on that a little bit since I kind of lived that experience. I started at USI as a freshman all the way through. This year will look a little bit different just because of COVID. I can't necessarily touch on the exact type of programming that we're going to have because I'm really not sure what it's going to look like. But I will say that as a freshman, even if you're more introverted, just go out and try things. Don't be afraid to say hello to people as you're walking on campus. If you see them throwing a frisbee or hammocking, things that maybe you kind of enjoy, just be like, hey, I'm Erin and I love throwing frisbee. So what's your name? What's your major? Just try to get out of your shell as much as you can. Try new things that you've never tried. I know typically we have a time where all the clubs and organizations are on the quad. Not sure what that will look like. But if we have an opportunity like that, whether it's in person or online, definitely look through involvement fair. Thanks, Jules. Look through that involvement fair. We have so many different organizations on campus. There's bound to be one that fits your likes and needs and desires. If not, you can get some people together and create one yourself. And if you're having roommates, maybe you're going random, just be open right away. And but really the biggest thing is to just kind of get out there. I remember I was like, hi, hi, and it's awkward, and it might seem weird, and some people are probably gonna be like, oh, I don't know about that, but there's going to be others who are like, okay, she's kind of cool, let's just see who she is. So just get out there, find something that you enjoy, and don't be afraid to meet other people, because you're bound to find your own group. So just get out there and do what you can.
Sometimes you can start with the people that live on your floor or in the same apartment building as you also. That's kind of a good natural place to start because those are the people that you're going to see regularly anyway. So kind of using those tips that Erin gave you, and starting with those people on your floor, and the only way you're going to find people with similar interests is talking to them, and kind of starting those conversations. So making sure you're taking the opportunity to kind of get to know those people, sit with people in the dining hall that are sitting by themselves and just kind of pop in and get to know them and things like that.
I also think that's where your RA can come in a lot. They will want to get to know you. They will want to get to know your peers. And, if you mention, oh, hey, by the way, I'm really interested in LARPing or whatever you want to get to, your RA will have talked to some of your other peers and might be like, oh, did you know Erin likes that too? And so I think connecting with your RA, they're a returning student who knows campus. They know what kind of clubs are around. So if you're really interested, the other thing is on campus, we have a tool called Eagle Sync. And so that's another place where you can see all those clubs Erin was talking about, as well as activities that are going on. We are currently in the process of still planning all the activities that will be during orientation week, but that committee is very committed. I sit on that committee, and so we are very committed to creating that experience. We don't know fully what it will look like. It will be different. We're talking about different ways to rotate people so that we can, again, maintain safety, but also allow you the opportunity to get to know and interact with other people, because you will also have that opportunity within your classes as well. So we have what we've done in the past and had already started to plan, and then kind of looking at how we're migrating that into ensure safety for everyone. But there will definitely be activities. Besides the RAs during orientation week, there's also amigos who are also returning students who are very well connected and love to get people involved. And so both the RAs and the amigos, I would say, would be a great resource to connect you to different people. And they're so much fun. They are a ball, and you will really enjoy getting to know all of those students.
Only thing I would add as well is, again, I think everybody's hit on the great resources. If you're anything like me, I was very shy and kind of that introverted, shy individual. And so from my piece of advice that I would always give for people that were like me is push yourself. It's uncomfortable in the beginning for a lot of people. And dealing with that discomfort is hard. But if you join an organization, part of the nice thing about that is you're going and you're going to be going and doing certain activities. It takes a little bit of pressure off. You're going to encounter things that are going to make you uncomfortable in terms of getting out there and meeting new people. But the more you do it, the easier it gets, the more connected you get to people. And that's what really connects you with others. I had to push myself, and I ended up loving college, and I haven't left yet because I've always worked at colleges, and it's the place for me. So that's my piece of advice from a psychological, emotional perspective as well.
I also wanted to add that social media is powerful. So there might already be a class of 2024 Facebook page. So that would be something to look into. And I think Mayor Brandon said it earlier, but start following those. If you use social media, start following the USI pages that we have. But that group I talked about on Facebook, the class of page. Sometimes people are on there saying like, hey, we're looking for a roommate. Let's talk. And I know that's how I found my roommates whenever I was a freshman. So you can always look at things like that. Social media is powerful. So check that out for sure.
Yep. Any other questions, Ryan?
Not that I can really think of right now.
Okay, great. Well, I've got one last thing to wrap this up. I'll tell everyone, I'm a Brandon. Does anyone know what I mean by that? Tell me about why I'm a Brandon. And then tell people what's up with that.
So we had something on our social media. We created a quiz that you can take and then answer a bunch of different questions and figure out which HRL staff member you are like the most. And Tom was lucky enough to get me. So, I think that's kind of the golden prize if you can get me personally, but no, I mean, you take it and it's kind of a great way to really get to know the HRL staff if you want to start to get to know us. And maybe you want to get connected to the HRL staff and you find out who's the most like you. That's the person you seek out when you get to campus. Because that person might be the most like you, so you can kind of be a starting point of getting to know some staff on campus too, because we can also help you get connected. But that is what Tom is talking about. He took the quiz and he got Brandon. So you heard us both say we were introverts, so that was probably a big part of it. But
wonderful. Well, thank you. I encourage everyone to take that quiz as well. Is it still up on your social media or on your website? Awesome. So encourage everyone to take it. Gets to know your area coordinators or your assistant directors and gets to know them a little bit. And again, I'll encourage you that when you get onto campus, get to know your RA, get to know your AC, and get to know the housing staff because they're one of the funnest, most fun staff on campus. Will help you a lot and support you when you need it. Any other last minute advice from anybody? No. Wonderful. Well, again, I encourage you, anybody who's watching this, reach out to, again, any of our HRL staff. Feel free to reach out to the Counseling Center. Our email is counseling.center@usi.edu, or you can always call us at 812-464-1867. I almost gave out my personal cell phone, which would be okay, but we'll give out the Counseling Center's number instead. So I thank you all for coming in and talking with us today, and enjoy the rest of your coffee or tea, and May you're with the brand new baby enjoying all your coffee and your coffee and your coffee.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. It was wonderful talking with you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.